Ooh, there we go. Good thing we caught that. Okay, so welcome to episode 2. Waking up as a goddess is going to be the main topic for today. And before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and play my music per usual. And I want to invite you to really take a moment, especially if you're joining me on the replay, to take a moment, center yourself, and really think about the intention of the type of woman you want to show up as today, because that's going to play a really big role into the discussion of our topic. So let's go ahead and get it going. If you haven't poured your coffee and put your creamer and all that stuff in it, I invite you to go ahead and do that as well. And let's go ahead and start our dance party. About 30 seconds left if you want to go ahead and think about the intention you want to set for today. What kind of woman do you want to show up as? Okay, good morning, goddesses. How are we doing? Welcome to the Sexy Sunrise Show. All right, let me back this up a little bit. Okay, how are we all doing? How are we feeling? Do we have our coffee this morning? How do you drink your coffee? I actually put a little bit of MCT oil, and then there's like this, it's a bag I found at Whole Foods, and it's got like this pure cacao plus coconut flakes and chia seeds in it. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of that in it with a little dash of almond milk, you know, spice it up. Oh my gosh, let's get this off the screen. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so how are we feeling? Let me know in the comments if you're hopping on here, joining me live. Virtual hug. Love you so much. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I love starting out with sharing my intention with you. And the idea behind the Sexy Sunrise, if you haven't heard it before, I actually joined a program last year with a woman. Her name legally is Gala Darling. If you want to check out her Instagram, she is like this disco queen. She's amazing. But in her program, she did this thing called Magic Morning. And the idea behind it, it's a video on YouTube also if you wanted to hear it from her. But the idea behind it is that you would find a partner, you would find a friend who didn't mind you texting them every morning. And instead of setting an intention for the day, you would say the things that you want to do, but you would say them in a past tense, like as if you had already done them. And I did this with a couple of friends of mine for a while, but it didn't really work for me because when I was texting them and putting everything in a past tense, I then felt this pressure. And then when I didn't get it done for the day, I would just like spiral back into my sadness and stuff like that. So with the Sexy Sunrise, the idea is to think of an intention of the way you want to show up in the world that day. Inside my app, The Goddess Boudoir, we actually have a private group, and what we'll do is we'll set our intention for the day as well as practice a little bit of gratitude, and then we'll kind of dissect our to-do list by picking the top 3 important things. And then we kind of go into a visualization process. So I'm really excited because today I'm going to take you through the Astro Forecast, and when we get to the Booty Bits portion, it's actually going to tie this whole Sexy Sunrise thing in. So if you haven't thought of your intention about the way that you want to show up as a woman today, you've got some time to keep thinking about that and feel inspired and think it to yourself, and I'll take you through how I actually walk through the visualization process myself so that I can concrete that intention into my body and the way I show up and the way I dress, the way I do my makeup and all that kind of stuff. So, boom, boom, Astro Forecast. I'm Bianca Delia. I'm your Astro Forecast weather woman, forecast woman for today. So let's take a peek. Today is Thursday, October 15th. And when we look at what's going on in the planets, we have the Sun in Libra and we have Pluto in Capricorn, and those are squared off to each other. So what this is going to mean for the day, what you have that you can look out for to kind of navigate your intention that you want to set. You might feel some like lingering negativity in the air from the past 2 days. And this can actually lead or kind of trickle into finding yourself in some kind of crisis or some kind of like ego conflict. And this is really interesting because a lot of you know I'm very intuition based, and so when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today and stuff like that, it actually brings this stuff together. So really, really cool. You might find yourself in some ego conflict, or you might find yourself taking part in some destructive behavior. We talked about self-saboteurs yesterday. So you might find yourself kind of like boop, boop, back into some of those patterns. So take a look at that. Now that you're kind of aware of it, when you see it, you can be like, boop, stop, and just stop that pattern altogether and, you know, take a step back inward and go back to that intention of how you want to show up in the day today and work from there. So that's your Astro Forecast today. Watch out for any of those ego conflicting energies, anything that might, this can even go for things that you want to get done or things that you had to do today and then maybe you don't get to them. And when we think about ego, we usually think about ego in this like egocentric sense. So someone who thinks more highly of themselves than probably makes other people feel comfortable and stuff like that. But ego also is the one who tells you you're not good enough. And when we think about ego, it's really just like the human experience. It's not who you are at your core. So those negative self-talk beliefs can also be attached to ego. So you might find yourself in patterns like that. And that actually goes right into that destructive behavior that I was just talking about. So that's your Astro Forecast today. Let's go ahead and jump into our Booty Bits segment because I'm very excited about this one today. Booty Bits. And Aisha, I see you all the way from the UK. Hey, baby, I haven't talked to you in forever. All right, so let's dive into our Booty Bits today. This is a practice I wanted to take you through, and it's a preparation for a boudoir photo shoot. You can even apply this to a normal photo shoot. But a lot of the women that I work with in my boudoir are moms, so we get a little tired sometimes, and sometimes things don't pan up the way that we want them to before the boudoir shoot. Sometimes we can't always get through the whole self-care guide and do all the meditating and all that stuff to really get ourselves in a good headspace. So something I wanted to go over today, and I really wanted to show you this today because this is going to pop into the visualization process that I actually take you through in our main topic today. So I've really been obsessed with rose quartz lately. So I have this rose quartz roller, and I also have this jade massaging stone. The jade massaging stone is actually one of my favorite things in the world. I keep this bad boy right inside the shower with me, and I love keeping it in the shower with me because when I'm in the hot shower, I can actually just run this under the water for a minute and let the stone really heat up. And then the way that this stone is caved, and if you are listening to this on the podcast, I really want to encourage you to check me out live on my Facebook or on the YouTube channel so you can see what I'm doing here. But the jade stone, it has all the curves in it. So what I'll do is I'll warm up the stone, and this can help for cleaning out your pores also. But when we talked yesterday on my live, I love the movement of energy and really using body work to get that stuff moving and grooving so we can just get ourselves in a good state. So as far as the massage stone, what I'll do is I'll take it and right on the curves, I'll pull it across my face, and it'll be nice and warm and it'll feel so good. And what this is also going to do is it's going to not only clean out the pores because the stone is going to be warm, but it's also going to increase that circulation in your face and really work to like get your skin really healthy. It's going to boost that skin regeneration. It's going to get the circulation so you get new blood flow going through your face. And this is going to help with like bags. This is going to help with like the formation of new fine lines and wrinkles. What I find also is a lot of times when we are stressed out a lot, we hold a lot of that stuff in our face. So you might start getting those parts on your forehead. I noticed for a while there I was getting those two lines between my eyebrows because I was constantly stressed out, and my face was constantly like this. I remember my son would actually, when he was first starting to learn facial expressions and stuff like that, he would be like, "Are you mad, Mama?" And I'd be like, "No, baby, why do you say that?" And he's like, "Why do your eyebrows do that then?" And I was like, guess I need to get this RBF under control. So this massage stone has helped a lot. I've been doing this for about a year. Another thing that I will do is this part right here that you see with this little dip. I'll actually take it behind me on my neck, and I'll just pull it up like my spine right here, and I'll kind of massage my neck, and then I'll kind of massage my shoulders right here with it just to kind of get all that tension out while I'm actually taking a shower. So I love that. And then I love the stone rollers because I can do this after I put my lotions on. I can run it under cold water, get it nice and cold to like close up those pores and just get a little bit of extra, like, this stuff feels good to me. I love lotions on my skin. I love like massage. I love all that kind of stuff. So the rose quartz roller, there's also like a jade roller. Love these things. So talking about the stones, let's go ahead and jump into our main topic today. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because self-love is something that's talked about a lot lately, and for good reason. Self-love is absolutely, I love that the world is kind of transitioning into this time of introspection and really trying to understand ourselves. It's really, really refreshing. And if the whole world can kind of just move into that, I feel like we would all communicate a little bit better together and things would just kind of elevate. So like I said before, a lot of the women I speak to are moms. And so when we want to talk about waking up to our goddess, when I talk about waking up to our goddess, what I mean is, sorry, give me 1 second. Hi Iris, the stones. So the stones, actually, I got this, I don't remember where I got the roller, but I feel like they're in a lot of places. You know what? I think it was Five and Below. I got this bad boy at Five and Below. And then this was actually at Walmart. The Jade stone was. And I believe the Jade stone, this came in a kit with the roller too. And hey Beth, I see you. Hey Carly. Oh, my favorite ladies are on here today. Awesome. Okay, so let me get back on track. I'm going to stay away from the comments because those are going to distract me, and Mercury is in retrograde right now, so my communication is going to be a little bit spotty. But we're going to roll with it. So let's go ahead to waking up to being a goddess. And on the subject of self-love being such a big topic right now, we all know about it. We all know we need to cultivate self-love, but we don't really know what that means. We don't really know what steps we have to take. We don't know what that looks like. And we don't really talk about it. Like, it's on the internet and it's talked about in mainstream media and stuff like that. But when you're amongst your friends and you're hanging out, these aren't really conversations that you have. So it's something that, you know that you need to do, but it never really gets brought up to your consciousness or anything like that. So, obviously, if you do a little search, how do I love myself online, you're going to find a ton of things online. There's going to be so many lists of things to do. Sometimes, you're like, I don't have time to do all this stuff. I don't have time for the bubble bath. I don't have time to meditate, So I want to talk about something that has helped me a lot. It's actually taken me also about 3 years to get to this point. So I also want to talk about the steps that kind of happen when you start developing these habits, because it's not easy and you're going to face a lot of resistance when you start going through this process. So a lot of us as moms, we wake up in the morning typically to our kid being like, hey, the sun's up. You wake up and you're like, whoa, like, where'd you even come from? I didn't even hear you come in the room. So, like, automatically, your kid wakes you up in the morning. You still wiping the sleep out of your eyes. They're hungry, so you got to get breakfast ready. You're doing that. Maybe you fell asleep with a tank top and you've got like one boob hanging out of your shirt or something. Like, you're just not ready for the day. Like, the day is just happening without you. And so you're trying to get something ready for your children. You're trying to get stuff ready, like, for your husband. He's got to eat too. And then you're also trying to like figure out what part of this day is going to allow me to like go get dressed. Like, am I going to get dressed for the day? I don't know. Maybe it won't even happen. So you got all this stuff happening. Maybe you've got dogs too. So like, now you got to feed the dog. Then you got to let the dog out. And then, you let the dog out and you're like, okay, all right, everybody's taken care of. I'm going to go do me for a minute. And then the dog taps on the door. Tap, tap, tap. And the dog needs in. And then the dog wants something else. And so it becomes this pattern. And it's like, well, all right, let me just get this done, and then I'll do whatever I had to do, and I don't even remember what I had to do anymore. What was it? And your brain just goes into this reactive state, and you are taken out of the picture. Like, you're no longer a woman. You're a machine, and you got to take care of your family. And that's what we want to do. Like, mothers and fathers, that's what we want. We want to make sure that we're doing good by our family. We want to make sure that our kids are taken care of. Like, that's a given, okay? Like, when we're having these conversations, we're not talking about putting our kids last or putting our family last or anything like that. But I do want to talk about putting yourself last. So when you're taking the woman out of the picture, and when I talk about the goddess, what I'm saying is the empowered woman. And I like to use this whole concept of the goddess, the empowered woman, because what happened to me when I started I would wake up every day in this reactive state, and I was not in charge of my life. I was reacting to everything that needed to get done because I knew they had to get done. And so I was just reacting, and I was not an empowered woman. I was not taking charge of my life. And the type of person I was someone who had a lot of bad self-talk. I was never good enough to myself. I would never be anything. Nobody wanted to be around me, and I didn't really understand it. I didn't really have friends. Women didn't approach me to be my friend, and I didn't understand why. I felt like I wasn't a good enough wife, and all day, as I'm also reacting to everyone else's needs, all day this stuff would run through my mind. I remember I was sitting, there was one day, Chris was at work, and this was very close to the time when I was setting up my own suicide. So this was actually, okay, so the moment where I kind of planned my own suicide happened, and then this was in the same time frame, but after that happened, when I decided, like, you know what, if I'm a bad mom, I'm just going to be a bad mom, but at least Atlas won't deal with the repercussions of me doing something like that. So I was still struggling. It wasn't like I made this decision and then everything was hunky-dory. Every single day was still a struggle. And I woke up one day and I was cleaning the house while Atlas was asleep, and I was so tired. I was so exhausted. And so I put some music on, and I don't know if you have heard Zavia, but she has the most beautiful, soulful voice I've ever heard. She was actually on a voice show at one point. I forget what the show is called, but Puff Daddy hosted it. She's so amazing. I just love her voice. Well, she did a rendition of the song, Say Something, I'm Giving Up on You. And that song came on, and I literally felt like it was the dark side of me talking to me. Like, please, like, give me something so that I can feel like I'm alive. Like, so I stop feeling like I want to take my own life. Like, give me something, say something, I'm giving up on you, talking to myself. And I just sat there at the dining room table and I just cried. And I just cried. And me and Chris, we laugh at it now. Like, the song will come on sometimes and I'll look at Chris and it's funny now because I'm not going through it. But when you're going through that, it's very powerful, and it's this wave that you can't control. It's like this tsunami and you just drowned under it. So I love this concept of the goddess because it actually separates me from my ego. And if you have been with me for a while, you know I love boudoir photography because I get to play in different outfits. We get to set up different scenes. Like, I love playing with alter egos. I love playing with personality types and bringing them to life. I love that kind of stuff. I love dressing up. I love, like, I just started building some, I just started collecting wigs for the studio and stuff like that. So I love the idea of, like, playing in these alter egos and dressing up and stuff like that. So the idea of the goddess really allows me to separate from that side of myself that's like, you'll never be good enough. You know what I mean? So I love that. And so whenever I'm talking about the goddess, just know I'm talking about the empowered woman and the woman who takes care of herself. So let's talk about what you can actually do so you can start tapping into that goddess part of yourself, that empowered woman. So what I like to do, and this isn't going to be something that's going to come easy, and this is also a reason why I believe so deeply in the Sexy Sunrise practice. And if you want to dive deeper into the Sexy Sunrise practice, there's 2 other pieces that go along with this practice, which includes gratitude and prioritizing your day. And the women who are taking part in that, there's only 2 other women, so it's nice and intimate. You're not going to feel intimidated by having a lot of women. My app in general right now, it's only got about 50 women in it, so it's very intimate and it's very small so that it's not overwhelming, and I just love it. So if you wanted to take part in that, if you go to thegoddessboudoir.com, you can actually find the virtual experience there, and you can join in that app. And we're going to be having a goddess circle. What's today? The 15th. Tomorrow is going to be the new moon goddess circle. So I'd love to have you in there for that if you want to do that. But if you want to do this on your own, you set the intention for your day, you find something to be grateful for, and then you also want to pick 3 things that you want to accomplish for the day. Only 3, so that you can leave the day feeling very accomplished. You can feel very empowered. You're not going to feel like you didn't do something that you needed to do. And then we tap into a visualization process. And this part you do on yourself. And I've got some tips in there of things that you can do to visualize. But what I like to do is I like to use these for my visualization in the shower. My visualizations always take place in the shower. And when you start tapping into this sexy sunrise practice to start cultivating this self-love within yourself and start really seeing yourself as a goddess, as an empowered woman, as a woman who truly loves her life, the very first step, the very first thing, and I know I keep like kind of going around in circles about this, but I just love it so much because it gives you space. This isn't something where I say like, go do this. What I'm about to tell you is going to give you space to figure it out on your own and figure out what it looks like to you and not something that someone's been teaching you, because I feel like there's so much information on the internet and it's a little overwhelming, and it takes you to the space of like, but who is correct? And I'm going to tell you right now that nobody on the internet is correct about your inner goddess. You are correct about your inner goddess, nobody else. So what I like to do is in the mornings, and this is going to take a little bit of playing with. You're going to have to really start cultivating a sense of self-awareness. And what this means is you're going to have to know if you are able to wake up in the morning and maybe make your kid a snack and, give them some tablet time or something so you can have 10 minutes to yourself to get your day started. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you can wake up in the mornings and you tell everybody, nope, I get 30 minutes to myself, then we can continue the day the way that we've been continuing it. But if you take 30 minutes to yourself and tell everybody, nope, I'm locking myself in the closet, I'm locking myself in the bathroom, leave me alone, and you take a moment to think about how do I want to portray myself today? How do I want to show up in the world? What kind of woman do I want to be, and what does she look like? And I love doing this first thing in the morning because it takes you out of that reactive mental state and it puts you immediately in charge of your own life. And not only that, but once you figure out the way that you want to show up for the day, you can wear the outfit that you want to wear to ground yourself in that woman. You can do your makeup in a way that's going to ground yourself in that woman. If your intention for that day is to relax by the fire pit, it's starting to get a little bit cold outside. So if that's your intention for the day and you want to be a woman who allows herself to slow down and enjoy life and enjoy the grass between her toes, maybe you won't wear makeup that day. You know what I mean? So when you set that intention, it allows you to kind of build your day and get started in a way that you are in charge. And what this is also going to do, the self-love thing, it trickles so far beyond into your life, you as a wife, you as a mom, and everything. Because when you start your day in a reactive state, what's going to happen is your kids are going to overrule you, or either you're going to freak out on them. And actually, I didn't go through my sexy sunrise intention with you today. So let me just dive into that really quick, I guess. Hopefully you've kind of thought about the way that you want to show up, especially since we went through the Astro Forecast. So my intention for today, and I've already been in my sexy sunrise circle to kind of brainstorm this, but my intention for today is to show up as a woman who handles her problems in a level-headed way, especially with Mercury in retrograde and the lingering feeling of like negativity in the air and stuff like that. I want to show up as a woman who handles her emotions and handles any problems that come her way level-headed, because I have a tendency to fly off the handle. I'll yell at Atlas, and I don't want to be that person all the time. That is a person who her anger or her frustration is in control of her life. And I want to be in control of my life. Me. I get to do it. I get to be stronger. I get to be empowered. I'm a goddess because I'm a woman. So that is my intention for today. And when you're kind of starting this intention, where was I before I went into that part? Oh, how it kind of trickles into being a wife and a mother. So when you wake up in the reactive state, that's actually what happens is you start getting ruled by the frustrations that are going on because you just want a minute. You just need a minute to clear your head, and everything is just happening without you. And so when you're constantly reacting to the outside circumstances, you're going to deliver yourself to the world in a way that you don't want to. And this is when you start having to like apologize more often because you're showing up in a way that you don't feel good about. Maybe you're yelling at your kids, or maybe it gets to a point where your kids have kind of like ruled the day and you're so tired that you're just like, whatever. And then the day passes and you realize your kid has been playing video games for the entire day because you were too tired to say, all right, video game time is done. Come on, let's go outside. Let's go for a walk. We're going to go do something. You know what I mean? Like the energy is completely different when you're in control of your life. When you're in control of yourself and your emotions and you've set your intention, it's going to sit right there so you can make decisions faster to recalibrate yourself into that position of empowerment over your life, if that makes sense. When you're not feeling empowered, things are just going to kind of happen to you, and then 20 years pass and you're going to go, what the heck happened? Because you didn't have the audacity to love yourself for 30 minutes every morning, to put yourself first as a woman every morning so that you can show up as your best self for your family. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you take those 30 minutes and you're able to make those decisions quickly and your brain is firing off in a way that's before the circumstance happens, you're going to build a life and you're going to look back and go, wow, look at all these memories we made. Like, remember that time when we just packed up the car and we decided to go camping one weekend and, you know, we just rented out a cabin and we swam in the pool and it was so much fun. Remember little Susie, she learned to swim that weekend. It's going to feel so much different, and the energy in your body, the energy in your mind is going to feel so much different. You're going to feel empowered. And I will tell you, in the very beginning, it has taken me 3 years to cultivate this sense of like putting myself first in the morning and setting an intention. And I'm going to tell you that it's going to be very hard. You're going to get a lot of resistance. And then in the beginning, you're also going to be faced with that ego that's going to start telling you that you're feeling, at least this is what happened to me, so I'm going to assume that this is a universal thing. I started thinking that I was narcissistic because I needed things. I started thinking that I was absolutely self-absorbed. I thought that I was selfish, and I had so much mom guilt, and I battled these things so hard. And my sun sign, I'm a Taurus, so I'm very, very stubborn, and that comes to anything in my life. It comes to how I feel about myself. I'm so stubborn about it. So if I'm like, no, Bianca, you did a bad job on that, I'm gonna ride on that emotion for a long, long time, because the Taurus in me is just so like my heels are in the ground all the time. It's really, really bad. So that's when the goddess part comes in, because you can actually separate yourself from that ego for a minute. And just like I was talking about your anxiety monster yesterday and containing it, when you have kind of stepped into a separate space of goddess energy, you can give that ego a space where it can do its own thing, and you can say, just wait a minute, this is what I need to do. I need to take care of myself first. I need to figure out who I want to be. I need to figure out who I want to show up as today. And eventually what's going to happen is it's going to get easier. But every single day you're going to have to fight for that. You're going to have to fight for the empowered woman inside you. And you're going to have to figure out a way. Once you start doing it more, you're going to become more self-aware in the situation. Because what's going to happen is you got to find a place where you and your family can meet, because your husband also has needs. Your children also have needs. But the idea here is to find a space where all of you guys have your needs met. And so what works with me and Chris is actually a night owl. And that works for me because I'm trying to do this getting up early in the morning and getting myself situated. So Chris kind of gets his time at night, and I get mine during the day. Now, I really believe in the power of doing this entire sexy sunrise practice during the morning, so you can kind of get yourself situated and started for the day. But you might have to wait till the afternoon. It just depends on what works best for your family. But I really, really encourage you to carve out some time. Maybe it can't happen until after you get the kids off to school. But if that is the case, don't come home and get straight on your phone and start scrolling through Facebook, because I'm going to tell you what happens is you get stuck. And then it's 2 o'clock, you got 30 minutes left before you got to go get the kids from school, and you're like, ugh, I guess I'll do it tomorrow. But you never do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes with its own entire situation of new problems, and you still haven't solved the problems from yesterday, or at least addressed them. So like you're just like pounding on these problems and you're packing them in there tight instead of just saying, I need 30 minutes in the morning. Can I have 30 minutes? And maybe you're going to have a conversation with your family. I just need 30 minutes, guys. You know, lock yourself in the bathroom. Tell them to go away for a minute. Go get a snack in the fridge. Go turn on the Disney Channel. Go do something. Or even, Atlas, I just give him TV time while I'm taking my time. But if you don't like screen time for your kids, set them up with a coloring book or, whatever works best for you. But figure out a way that you can take charge of yourself first, because that's going to play a major role in the version of you that your children are getting, the version of you that your husband is getting, and the version of you that the world is getting. Because I know it sounds so cliche, and this stuff sounds so, how would I put it? It sounds so like, okay, like we've heard this 1,000 times. And it sounds so cliche, but forgot what I was going to say. Thank you, Mercury retrograde. But all this sounds so crazy, but everyone has gifts. Everyone has something that they're good at. And a lot of times people go through their entire human experience of life and they never share their gift with the world. But everyone has some kind of gift. And everyone has a different gift. And all of us need a collection of a different gifts from everyone. Like my information, the things that I've learned, I don't just get them from one book. I've read tons of books. I'm taking a coaching program. I'm doing all these things so that I can pick up lots of different things that I need for all the different areas that need a little bit of fine tuning in me. So all of us have different gifts. All of us have different messages. All of us have different ways that we're collaborating to the world. And we're all needed in the best version of ourselves. And this is how we do it, simply by loving ourselves. So that is the talk for today. Again, just to summarize it really quick, take 30 minutes for yourself in the morning, set your kid up with a snack, put on Disney Channel, lock yourself in the closet. Join me in my Sexy Sunrise Circle if you want something a little bit more concrete and you want more like intimate space with me. So that you like write everything down, figure out what feels good for you, figure out what works best for you, and then I'd love to hear your experience with it. I know that you're going to take a different kind of energy throughout the day. You're going to feel more empowered, and you're really going to start seeing the change in the way and the timing in which you can make decisions and recalibrate back to yourself, simply by taking the 30 minutes and setting an intention for the way that you want to show up in the day, every single day. So that's my chat today. Thank you so much for joining me. I love being part of your morning. If I am a part of your morning, it's seriously a gift to me, and I feel so honored to even see some of you popping up on here. I love you so much. I'm going to go back over to the comments really quick. I don't want to leave anyone hanging. Yes, Beth, see? The reactive. That's what I'm pretty sure you're talking about, the reactive thing. Hey, Morgan! So, yep, where did I get those two things? Yes, awesome. So we tackled the comments. Hello, everybody, again. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you have a beautiful day. It's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, one of my favorites. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but I know I'll try to make it interesting. All right, goddesses.